radio program.
Calgary Today with Angela Kokott on 770 CHQR. Brought to you by Universal Lincoln.
It is Wine Wednesday. Karen Crippen, sommelier with Coop Wine Spirits Beer, joins us today. As always, Wine Wednesday is brought to you by Coop Wine Spirits Beer. Come see them in store for expert advice. She's my expert today. Hello, Karen.
Hello, Angela.
You have brought in a Merlot, and it was interesting when you poured this and took a sip. You said, I'm sure glad I let this breathe. So tell me the journey that this bottle took before you got here.
Well, I opened it up in the tasting room first. Number one, I wanted to make sure it wasn't faulted because we've got a 2013 Merlot. And, it's been sitting on our shelf. So, when you have a cork, there's always that opportunity to have cork taint. It could be oxidized. There's other faults that we can have, but something could go wrong. And I didn't want to have something go wrong by the time I got here. So I wanted to check that out. And that's something you want to do, especially if you're hosting a dinner party, you've got guests coming over, and you've got a wine that you're serving with that dinner. You want to open it up before your guests arrive to make sure that it's good to serve to the guests. So that was step one. Made sure it wasn't faulted, opened it up, and I knew that it was kind of aggressive. It was like, you know what? I'm not ready to drink right now. So put the cork back on. By the time I drove here, 45 minutes later, it's actually opening up and is now coming into its time. We're doing pretty good right now.
Oh, you're a sommelier, and when you talk about a wine being faulted, would I pick up on that as well? Is it something like, oh my gosh, this tastes like vinegar?
Sometimes it can smell like wet cardboard. It could taste like vinegar. A wine shouldn't taste like vinegar. You know, maybe if you've had it for a long time, throw it into a salad dressing, do something like that. But it can absolutely have some faults with it. Cork taint is a common one where it does smell like wet cardboard. It can be slightly off, but often people don't pick up on that and they think that they just don't like the wine, don't buy it again. What you want to do is put that cork back on, bring it back to your Calgary Co-op with that receipt. We're going to replace it. There's not a winemaker on the market that wants you to have that wine that's faulted.
All right. We are on Facebook Live, and the wine is Freemark Abbey Merlot. What is Freemark Abbey?
Oh, Freemark Abbey. This winery actually dates back to like 1886, and it was called something else. It was actually called Josephine Winery, and she's one of the first female winemakers on the books in Napa Valley. So it started off with her. It changed hands throughout the years, and then 3 gentlemen took it over in the 1930s, and then it's named after 3 different gentlemen. Their names come together from, Freeman, Mark, and Abbey. So we've got all those names. It wasn't an abbey. It had nothing to do with nuns or
I was thinking, was it a church, religious order?
Nothing like that. But it would be a great drink to have on Sunday with dinner, if we want to put it that way. But no, it came to that. But I mean, it's got a lot of history in regards to being with, the Paris tasting. They were involved with that. They had both a red and a white wine. So this is definitely a winery that has a lot of history, and they are one of the spearheads when it comes to winemaking in the Napa Valley.
You say Paris tasting as if everyone knows that story. I'm familiar with it because I've done Wine Wednesday for 8 years. But for people who haven't heard of the Paris tasting, what was that all about?
That's where basically it put California wine on the map. There was 12 different wineries that came together. They were actually recruited basically to go up against the Bordeaux winemakers, and they did. So this is one of those wineries that was involved with that competition.
Do you know the movie? I can't remember the movie. Patrick, you might remember the movie that was based on that whole Paris tasting.
I think it's Bottle Shock.
I think you're right. Bottle Shock. Good for you. You knew that as well. Okay, so it's been around a long time, this winery has. Now tell me about the Merlot and why it's probably one of my favorite wines to drink.
Well, this is fantastic. I mean, this is a medium body, so we're not going to be one of those big, juicy, bold styles of wine, and we're not super light, which is fantastic for food pairing. So we have some nice structure that's going along with this. We have some nice fruit component. So this is one of those ones where it's going to complement the meal. I find that often people think about having big, bold, like Malbecs and blends with their meal. The problem with that, if you're going to all this work to make your meal, the wine can often overpower all that work you've gone to. So a nice medium body style of wine, such as the Merlot, is a great way to complement a meal.
You were talking about having people over for dinner, and back to this whole idea of making sure that the wine isn't faulted. When should I be opening my wine if I'm going to be entertaining people in the evening?
I like my wine at breakfast.
Okay.
But let's be real. I mean, if you're hosting a dinner party and you've got people coming over, I almost like to have 2 of the same bottle of wine. And I want to open it up. And it's not so I can drink one myself and then the other one for the guests.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
although that's not a bad idea.
It's not, depending on who your guests are and who's coming over. But if one is faulted, you've got your backup already there. If you open it up, now you give it that time to breathe. And if you feel it's actually where it needs to be, put that cork back on and you're ready to go. If it's not, you can have a little sample of your glass going and keep tasting it throughout while you're preparing your meal and chopping up your veggies and decorating your table or doing what you're doing for entertaining. And then when you feel that wine is ready to drink, put the cork back on. So then it's going to be ready for your guests. You don't have to wait. You can do the decanting, you can do that whole process, but you don't know where or how long you're going to have to decant it for. So that's one way you can troubleshoot.
So could you ever over decant, have it in a decanter too long and you've lost something then?
Yeah, you could. It would just go flat and just unexciting.
So you're almost better off keeping, once you've done all the testing and figured that this is right, put the cork back on.
Put the cork back on.
This is an actual cork, but we have seen the screw tops. We've also seen a move away from true cork to more of, it's not
synthetic?
Synthetic, yeah. Is there a difference? Is a synthetic cork less chance of that cork rot or the concern that you can have?
Cork taint, yeah. Because the synthetic is not going to breathe as much as what a cork will. The cork is going to expand and contract in the bottle, especially with our humidity, what we have here in Calgary. That's definitely something you want to watch when you're storing your wine for long periods of time. The synthetic cork won't do that. Salvin cap, which is what we call with a screw cap, that one's great. It means screw caps, you're not going to have any cork taint whatsoever with that. It also won't have the chance to breathe as much. Therefore, you can actually store it for a little bit longer.
All right. Yeah. So the Freemark Abbey, the Merlot, I think it's on sale until tonight.
It's tonight. You need to make it your way to Co-op tonight. This is a fantastic wine. We're saving over $14 on this wine. It's usually a $40 bottle. We've got it on for $25.
And you know what? It's a nice glass of Merlot. Karen, thanks for bringing it in.
Thank you.
As always, you can check this out on Facebook Live in case you missed it or you missed the sale tonight. You just want to be able to see the label. Do that all on Facebook. Karen Crippen, sommelier with Co-op Wine Spirits Beer. Let's check our drive home.